So,
Yeah. So, hello, Praveen.
hello, sir.
Tell me, what motivates you for a career in the civil services?
So, one of the prime reasons is that one of my influences is my parents. My parents work in the government sector. They have inspired me to a certain extent. Their loyalty and their attitude towards work has inspired me to a certain extent. Apart from that, I personally felt that as a civil servant, I could explore diverse opportunities in work. I could better serve the society as well as I could progress my career. I could explore different options as well here. That is one of the main reasons I decided to join the civil services. So,
Very well. And what makes you think that you will be a good fit?
so I personally feel that I'm extremely hardworking, and I feel that I can easily connect with the different kinds of people, irrespective of their background or irrespective of their personalities. So that I feel will enable me to work better on ground. And apart from that, I personally feel I have some abilities to do some social change in the society. So,
Very well. Do you think bureaucrats really have the, you know, mandate to bring about significant changes in the wider society?
maybe and maybe not, sir. I feel personally because though bureaucrats only aid in policy making or only aid in execution of policy, I personally feel bureaucrats may help the ministers to better execute the policies and to better execute the schemes and the programs. And bureaucrats could also make definite recommendations to ministers as well for implement proper implementation of certain schemes. And bureaucrats, I believe, have a greater power to bring about social change in the societies.
Okay, you began your response saying yes and no. So, in what aspects do they not have that, capacity to do so?
I believe the ultimate power is in the temporary executives, which people elect. So I believe they have greater accountability to the people. So I believe we need to work under their guidance. So on that capacity, we may not have the full authority to bring about change, but we can definitely aid in bringing about the change. So
Very well. Praveen, do you think that Indian bureaucracy is somewhat elitist? Is that a correct accusation that can be made against the Indian bureaucracy?
there are certain elitist aspects in bureaucracy, sir, but I cannot dismiss the entire bureaucrats as being elitist. There are many honest officers who who bring about social change in the society, who work for the welfare of the people, who has brought about many pro-poor policies as well. So it cannot be dismissed as elitist in the whole sense, but though there are certain elitist aspects to it, sir.
Very well. So, where have you spent most of your life, Praveen?
In Chennai, sir, Tamil Nadu.
In Chennai? That's
Yes,
where
sir.
you've grown up and that's
Yes,
where
sir.
you were
I did
working?
my education here and I'm working right now here, sir.
Very well. So, can you give me a sociological profile of the city?
So Chennai is one of the four metropolitan cities in India, and Chennai is something which has been developed since the colonial era. So it is a well-established port. It has a very diversified economy. There is a service sector. We have many IT companies here, and it also has a strong manufacturing sector, especially in the automobile. And the surrounding neighborhoods of Chennai also engage in agriculture to a certain extent. Also, Chennai is a heterogeneous city. It has people from of diverse backgrounds. It has people all over the India who come and work here. Despite the dominant language here being Tamil, there are also other languages which are spoken here, primarily Telugu, Malayalam, as well as Hindi. And apart from it, there are certain social issues here as well. I would say, as with every other major metropolitan cities in India, we have the urban flooding problem, which is recurring
Could you
year after
repeat
year.
that, please? The last bit. You also have which problem?
Urban flooding.
Urban flooding. Very well. Please
Yes,
continue.
sir. We have urban flooding problem year after year. Apart from that, we also have issues pertaining to improper traffic management, inefficient public transport systems, and so on, sir, here.
Very well. Why do you have problems like flooding? And even if I I'm saying it right, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's also a shortage of drinking water in several parts of the city. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. At times when there is a heavy summer and inadequate monsoons, that happens, sir.
So, how do you explain this contradiction? On the one hand, you have floods in the city, and on the other, you also have a water shortage. I mean, what is it? Is it a water scarce or a water abundant region?
I believe it has mostly to do with unplanned construction in the cities for the most part. Also, encroachment of wetlands has been a very big deal here, sir. Many wetlands, Chennai is once home to many wetlands, sir. Even now, the existing Ramsar site, the Pallikarnai wetlands, the area has greatly been reduced. Apart from it, encroachments on lakes and rivers, river bodies across the cities is also another problem, sir. Also, a lack of adequate urban green spaces is another problem which contributes to urban flooding in parts of the city, sir. So, despite heavy rains, many of these water goes to the sea without being stored, sir. So, adequate rainwater harvesting is also something which must be focused on, sir.
Very well. Praveen, is there a real and perceptible cultural divide between northern India and southern India?
Every region in India has its own differences, but apart from that, I believe there are also many similarities which bridges these gaps and brings us together as Indians, sir. Of course, there are differences in northern and southern India when it comes to languages. Northern India speak Aryan group of languages. Southern India speak Dravidian groups of languages. Of course, there are certain elements of religion which may differ. Also, the culture also may have certain differences, sir. But apart from it, there are also many similarities, such as the notion of karma and dharma, which is which is popular throughout the country. Apart from that, we have a single national flag. We have respect for national anthem and the constitution. And also, we strongly oppose any threat to the sovereignty and integrity of India, irrespective of whether it's in the north or in the south. Say, for example, an attack from Pakistan and so on. So, a strong sense of national unity is therefore prevalent.
So, Praveen, how do you perceive these, what are being termed as language wars? Yeah, is there really a, that Hindi is being imposed on the Tamil speaking people and there's a real threat to the Tamil language and its heritage?
So personally, I don't believe so, sir. The debate that is going on with the three language formula between the center and the state government here in Tamil Nadu is purely political, I believe, sir. Not many people share the same opinion as the political party, sir. So since the Dravidian politics here has a history of anti-Hindi agitations, the current political parties wants to continue the same and wants to continue with the two-language formula that was formulated in that was already in place in the state, sir. But apart from that, since nearly 40% of students in private schools as well as in Kendriya Vidyalaya schools study here, the same can of course be implemented in government schools, sir. People do not have any objections to it, and I believe.
Could you repeat this last bit regarding the 40% of the students? What was your point? Could you make it again?
40% of students in the state who study in private schools as well as who study in Kendriya Vidyalaya schools already learn Hindi at least till class 8. So I believe implementation of the three language policy even in government schools would definitely not be a threat to the language in the state, especially to the local language. So I believe instead of opposing Hindi, we must adopt a unifying language across the country. But at the same time, we must also promote regional languages as well, sir.
Very well. Praveen, could you share with me regarding some social reformers from Tamil Nadu and what their contributions have been, what their legacy is? If any come to mind?
Yes, sir. One of the most popular social reformers that comes to my mind is E.V.R. Periyar, sir. He's a pioneer of the Dravidian movement, and the positive social reforms he has brought about include rationalism and fight against caste discrimination, fight against social inequalities and promoting social justice, and protecting women's right and ensuring that people remove their caste surnames here and adopt a caste-free approach here, sir. So though his approach is successful in many areas, he is also criticized in certain areas, sir. His anti-Brahmanical approach is one area which is hugely criticized. Since any caste or any particular group should not be targeted in the name of a movement, I strongly believe that should not have been there. apart from that, most of his ideas have been successful to a great extent, sir. Though caste as an institution has not been fully eliminated, removing caste surnames is something which is a positive step in the right direction, sir. So on that note, I believe he is one of the great reformers from Tamil Nadu, sir.
Very well. What is the concern of the Tamil Nadu state administration regarding delimitation?
So the current parliamentary seats for Tamil Nadu is based on the 1971 census. After which constitutional amendments have been brought in to prevent further delimitation on the basis of population. This is because many southern states, and in particular Tamil Nadu, did well in implementing the population policy and has reduced the fertility rates to a greater extent. So going forward with delimitation, there are concerns that Tamil Nadu could lose its seats on a pro rata basis or in the parliament, sir. So that is one of the main concerns that's going on right now, sir.
And has that concern been sufficiently addressed by the assurances given by the central government leadership?
So, Honorable Minister Amit Shah has recently, Home Minister Amit Shah has recently said that southern Indian states would not be at a disadvantage as a result of delimitation. However, political parties here personally feel that there is a lack of clarity on whether southern Indian states would lose seats in the parliament or whether they would proportionately be entitled to in the parliament. So those concerns are being there. But I personally feel population should be the primary criteria for delimitation in the parliament. So on the basis of that, southern states may lose certain seats. So to compensate for that, maybe like how we do in the Finance Commission, maybe successful implementation of population policies could be some percentage while calculating the delimitation, sir. So that might be something which could be approached, sir.
Yes, but the leadership in Tamil Nadu is also prodding people to have more children. How do you see that? Like, is that a healthy development?
Yes, sir, there are talks about it, though not as aggressively as done in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. But I believe, yes, sir, to a certain extent, it is right, I believe, sir, because Tamil Nadu and Kerala has a total fertility rate of 1.6, which is well below the replacement rate of 2.1. So any country which has a decline in population is going to be affected economically in the long run, since it will have more old age population and there will not be enough people in the labor force who is going to replace them. So on that note, I believe we need to maintain a constant total fertility rate of about 2.1 or closer to that in many states across India. So states which decline in fertility rates have to encourage begetting more children, whereas states with a higher fertility rate must adopt some population control measures.
And if I heard you correctly, you mentioned that the fertility rate presently in Kerala and Tamil Nadu is 1.6. Is that
Yes,
what you
sir.
had mentioned?
Yes, as far as I can recall, yes, sir.
Very well. Over the past few days, we've been seeing that fishermen in Tamil Nadu have been protesting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the issue at hand?
So the basic issue is that there are concerns that Sri Lankan Navy has arrested certain fishermen for illegally shipping in Sri Lankan waters, sir. So this has been a long debate between India and Sri Lanka after the delimitation. I mean, after proper delineation in the Sri Lankan waters. So despite delineation, many Indian fishermen, because of lack of adequate fish resources near the Tamil Nadu coast, go into Sri Lankan coast for fishing. And as a result of it, they are captured and arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy, sir.
Yes, you're right. And you also see that there have been protests by factory workers in some of the private organizations. If I remember correctly, Samsung is one of them. And
yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
How would you rate, labor relations in Tamil Nadu? Are they at another?
I believe Tamil Nadu has long been a state which is thriving in manufacturing sector. So it is one of the Tamil Nadu has over 30% of its contribution to GDP in manufacturing. So for a long term, we did not have many problems with respect to labor rights. But of course, there are concerns which emerged recently, especially in the Samsung plant, where there are concerns over improper working conditions, long working hours, and low wages. But I believe the government is addressing and is mediating the protest and talking with both the managers as well as the employees and the unions to solve that issue, sir. So I don't believe this will be a major problem in the long run, sir.
Very well. What have you done for your graduation?
Electronics
Engineering.
communication, yes, sir. Engineering.
Electronics and communications engineering. Do you think there's a problem regarding the quality of engineers that we are producing, frankly?
Yes, sir. I believe so. This is primarily because there is low employability of graduates who are coming out of universities, sir. So graduate may be employable in any field, but with respects to the job skills, there is definitely a mismatch that is going on, sir. So people who are low skilled or semi skilled aspire for high skilled jobs, but in turn they get only low skilled jobs, sir. So employability of students has become, especially engineering students, has become a big problem. And that definitely needs to be addressed by bridging the industry academia gap and by revising the curriculum, sir.
Very well. Praveen, we also hear every other day now news of students who are preparing for the engineering entrance exam.
Yes, sir.
For the IITs. Some of them committing suicides, particularly in places like Kota and Rajasthan.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me a sociological analysis of these student suicides in Kota?
So, student suicides, especially in entrance examinations, has become a common norm now. So this has mostly to do with social changes in various social structures. Emphasis on education is something which middle class aspire for now. So education is seen as a tool for social mobility as an tool for empowerment. So many middle class aspire to educate their children so that they have imbibed those values. So because of this, there has been an increase in peer pressure. There has been an increase in pressure among students to perform well. And also students constantly engage in a social comparison with their peers. So as a result of it, they feel mentally depressed and anxiety. They have anxiety levels. So as a result of it, student suicides have become very common now, sir.
Very well. What can we do about it, Praveen? Imagine if you were made in charge of the district administration in a place like Kota. Tell me tell me 3 concrete steps that you will take to address the issue of student suicides.
One is I would be advocating helpline number, especially for students, sir, to contact in case of any need. Another one would be engaging or setting up mental health care hospitals and clinics and increasing the number of psychiatrists and addressing. And third one would be to remove the stigma that mental health issue is something. Is removing the stigma surrounding the mental health issues and student depression, sir. So to promote awareness campaigns would be created to promote student engagement as well as engagement with parents, sir.
Very well. What was the gender ratio in your batch in college, Praveen?
So I'm not exactly sure, but we had more girls than boys in my batch, sir.
Very interesting. And that's a rarity. Would you acknowledge that?
So in my department, there are more girls, but of course there are discrepancies across departments. Say, for example, in mechanical engineering, of course, boys dominate there. So electronics and communication engineering and computer science and engineering are streams where the girls feel that they could perform well. It could probably suit their careers well. So as a result of it, in my department, we have more girls than boys. So.
And in the college as a whole, across streams?
I believe boys will be more than.
Sorry?
I believe boys will be more than girls, sir.
And was that significantly disproportionate, or was it like only a marginal difference between the number of boys and girls in the batch?
So my college is one of the tier 1 colleges in the state. So in my college, the difference was not that significant. But in tier 2 colleges, I feel the differences would be significant. So
Uh, there was a sexual assault which had taken place and
yes, sir.
which drew a lot of flack for the mishandling. Do you think that the whole episode could have been handled better by the administration?
Yes, sir. So I personally feel a better policy would or should have been put in place, especially in the university campus, sir. So in my university campus, there are restrictions regarding entry and exit is not being enforced properly. So proper register needs to be maintained to record people who enter there and leave there. And also, there are many construction workers and outsiders who work in the campus and they stay late till night hours, sir. So that must not have been permitted. So that should have been avoided. And proper installation, many CCTV cameras are not functioning in the university. So that also should have been addressed, and proper lighting and CCTV cameras in many areas should have been prioritized, sir.
Very well. Praveen, what is your sense? Like, is there caste-based discrimination in engineering colleges or higher education in general?
Yes, sir. There are news about caste-based discriminations even in AIMS, sir. So I believe
Even in
AIMS.
AIMS.
Yes, sir. So I believe caste-based discriminations continue to exist even in top tier colleges like IITs and AIMS.
Can you tell me some recent developments which you think will have far-reaching effects on the society? Recent developments in the field of electronics and communications?
Yes, sir. I believe recent advancements in quantum computing is something which will have a wider impact on the society. The reasons I believe so are that many companies now are in the quantum race, especially in the United States. Recently, Amazon has released its quantum chip Oscillate, as well as Microsoft has released its quantum chip named Majorana 1. So these quantum chips have the potential to transform our futures, because quantum computing, I believe, has the potential to break the cybersecurity that we currently exist today. So in the
It
internet,
has the potential to break
the security systems in the internet, in the digital world that exist today, security algorithms. Say, for example, for browsing, for emails, and for internet, we currently use an encryption technique called RSA algorithm. So when quantum computers advance and a million qubit quantum computers come into place, these security systems could easily be breached. So whichever country gains advantage in quantum computing first, they will definitely have an edge over others in terms of cybersecurity. Also, quantum computing has a very major role to play in drug discovery, sir. They can model protein structures easily, and definitely, so countries which advance in quantum computing will also have an economic advantage over others. Apart from that, I also feel artificial intelligence is another area which could have a wider impact on the society. So artificial intelligence, despite its various concerns, could potentially be used in many sectors, especially in healthcare, education, and agriculture as well. So I believe that will also have a wider impact on the society. Of course, human relationships also get transformed as a result of artificial intelligence. So newer forms of human interactions are something which could have wide-reaching implications in the society. So
interesting. This quantum computing, the advances that are being made in it, is it subject to Moore's law?
I'm not exactly sure on that. So
Okay. Tell me, does India stand anywhere in technological advancement in quantum computing?
India has recently, 2 years back, launched a national quantum computing mission. So it has allocated nearly 10,000 crores for quantum computing. So on that note, India plans to develop 5 to 100 qubit quantum computers within the next 5 years, and also 1,000 qubit quantum computer within the next 8 years. So we also want to be part of this quantum computing race. So these developments, I believe, are in the right direction. So
Okay. Were you keeping track of the AI summit which has recently taken place in Paris?
I have seen it to a certain extent, sir, not into the details.
Any idea why the US seems to be not on board on the framework which is being put in place?
Yes, sir. So the AI summit, which is being held recently, they primarily focus on AI ethics and AI safety. They also wants to put a regulatory framework for artificial intelligence to ensure that artificial intelligence is beneficial to mankind and the risk associated with artificial intelligence are minimal. So on that note, United States is one of the leaders in artificial intelligence. So it has many companies which leads in artificial intelligence. So I believe United States, if goes into a regulatory law, will hamper the innovation in artificial intelligence. So on that note, United States does not want to involve in tighter regulations as of now for artificial intelligence. So,
And Praveen, what is DeepSeek and why is it considered so, path breaking? I mean, there are plenty of LLMs out there.
DeepSeek is an artificial intelligence tool that is devised by China. So one of the reasons why it is in the news and it's hotly debated is because it uses very less graphic processing units when compared to traditional AI tools. So AI software. So the minimum use of graphic computing processor units and achieving almost the same level of performance has been the source of debate, sir. And this also highlights that despite the limited resources, any country could fare well in artificial intelligence and could be part of the artificial intelligence race. So,
Yes. What does the GPT stand for when we say chat GPT?
generative pre-trained transformer. So,
Very well. And what would that mean in layman language?
okay, so shall I break it down separately? So generative means that it can generate text or images or videos based on user prompts. Pre-trained is that these artificial intelligence employ machine learning techniques. So they are pre-trained on certain sets of data. And they work based on that data. So every time a user asks a question and it offers a data, and that data that the user questions are again loaded into it. So it is every time it's training. And transformer is the kind of computer architecture that is used in artificial intelligence. So it basically helps to transform the input to output. So one of the features of that architecture is that unlike other traditional computer systems, it analyzes the whole paragraph as a whole. Say, for example, if I need to give an example, the bank has offered a loan. Say, for example, there's a statement like this. Here, the processor reads the statement fully and understands that the bank is not a river bank, but a financial institution. So it analyzes the entire paragraph and it interlinks it and gives an output. So that is one of the main features of this architecture. So
very well. Presently, what's your engagement? You've been chosen in some state government job in the cooperative sector.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think that in the last 10 odd years, we've put in place a new legal and administrative architecture for cooperatives?
Yes, sir. We have created a new ministry for cooperatives. Also, a new policy for cooperatives, a national policy for cooperatives is in place. Is proposed, but it's not yet to be in place, if I could recall correctly. So those are some of the developments we see right now, sir.
And has it been also incorporated in any way amongst the chapter on fundamental rights?
In the recent decades, yes, sir. In Article 19, we have the right to form associations or unions and cooperative societies. Similarly, in DPSP also, it has been incorporated for promotion of cooperative societies.
So Praveen, what is your assessment? Like, what has prompted this newfound focus on the cooperatives? They've been around for a while now.
Cooperatives has been around since the last century. Especially, it has gained prominence since independence. But of course, it has lacked it has lacked in many areas due to excessive politicization, excessive bureaucratic controls, low participation of youth, and infrequent elections. So, but the government believes that cooperatives has a revolutionary potential. It could transform the, especially in rural development. So it could play a major role in rural development. So on that note, to increase employability, to increase entrepreneurship in rural areas, I believe government is on a full-fledged mission to revive the cooperative sector. So.
And Praveen, how are cooperatives any different from, say, other organizational forms like a company?
So, unlike a company whose main objective is profit, cooperatives is basically service oriented. Also, in company, a person's vote is based on his contribution, his capital contribution. However, in cooperatives, irrespective of the capital contributed by the members, everyone has an equal vote. So, it is based on the principle of one member, one vote. So, cooperatives is democratic. So decisions are taken by the members. So members constantly elect the board of members, unlike a company where the board of members are based on the shareholders. So not every person contributes the same. Here, every person contributes the same. And also it primarily works for the upliftment of its members. So it's basically service oriented.
Very well. We've seen the governments in some states particularly pushing women's cooperatives.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
So I personally believe women has huge potential, economic potential, but their economic potential has not been fully utilized. Their labor force participation is also low. So on that note, I believe women could play a major role in cooperatives. This is because women in rural areas engage in everyday activities in agriculture, in dairy, and so on. So when they work collectively and establish a cooperatives, it could run successfully and it could serve as models for other cooperatives as well. So on that note, it could lead to greater women empowerment as well. So I believe women cooperatives are promoted a lot.
Are you aware of any successful cooperatives in any part of the country which have done a very good job in empowering their members?
Yes, sir. One of the successful cooperatives in India is, of course, Amul, sir. So apart from that, even similar to Amul model, we have Nandini cooperatives in Karnataka and Arvind cooperatives in Tamil Nadu, which work in the dairy industry. So apart from that, Seva is another important cooperative which I could think of, Self-Empowered Women Association. So for this is especially for women. Apart from that, we have many cooperatives in Kerala. That's a cooperative called Uralungal. So it basically engages in labor contracts. So it has provided employment to vast members of its rural populations. So these are some of the cooperatives I could think of at this moment.
And what is, why don't we have many more such examples? I mean, India is a large country and a large number of people which, can be considered as the target audience for the cooperative movement. So are there any roadblocks that the cooperative movement as a whole is facing?
Yes, sir. Cooperatives primarily face from a lack of access to adequate capital, sir. So this is one of the reasons cooperatives even today operate only in traditional areas like fisheries, banking, and so on, sir. So with emerging technologies on the rise, cooperatives could not compete with other companies in terms of establishing in emerging sectors. So that is one area where cooperatives lack. Apart from that, there is a lack of youth participation among the cooperatives. So in the cooperatives. So this is primarily because youths are mostly attracted either to corporate jobs or to entrepreneurships in emerging areas such as startups. So this is one area where it lacks. Apart from it, the democratization of cooperatives is not fully realized. Elections are not being held properly in cooperatives, and that contributes to a significant and inordinate delays in decision making. And there has also been politicization of cooperatives.
So as an inspector in charge of, looking after cooperatives, can the administration intervene, say if elections are not taking place in a cooperative? Can and should it intervene?
It should intervene, but the primary reasons why there are inordinate delays in elections is because elections are not conducted by an independent body. So the Cooperative Election Commission in Tamil Nadu is under the state government. So politicians exercise influence over the election commission. So whenever a political party feels that the opposition has an edge in elections, it will inordinately delay the elections and hamper the effective functioning of the cooperative societies.
So elections to cooperatives are managed by the election commission.
Yes, sir.
By the
Cooperative
state election commission.
No, sir. A separate cooperative election commission, which is under the state government's control, sir.
Very well. I see that you like watching and playing tennis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who's your favorite tennis player, Praveen?
My favorite tennis player is Novak Djokovic, sir.
Very well. Do you think in India we somewhat lack a sporting culture? We don't pay enough attention to sports?
Yes, sir. The primary reasons for that is because we place too much emphasis on education. Sporting is not seen as a rewarding career. People often are apprehensive of enrolling their children in sports because it may not offer a stable career. People mostly want a career which has job security and which is stable. So that's one of the reasons why sporting culture is poor in India. Also, traditionally, in the past decades, cricket has dominated Indian sports. So other sports are not as recognized as cricket. So there is lack of infrastructure facilities for other sports as well, which hampers the progress in other sports. So.
Very well. So if you were in charge of the sports administration throughout the country at the helm, what steps you think you can take to improve that, enthusiasm for sports, particularly amongst the youth?
First, I would focus on sports which are popular in every region. Say, for example, in Tamil Nadu, we have native sports like Silambatam, which is extremely popular here, but it's not very well popularized. So conducting separate events for such sports would be prioritized. Also, based on regional preferences, those sports will first be encouraged. In Kerala, there's a strong football culture. So in Northeast, there is also a strong football culture. So integrating these two and encouraging players from across these states to compete together is something which I would consider. Apart from that, developing infrastructure facilities, especially at least in tier 1 cities first, followed by those in tier 2 cities, and identifying suitable talents and bringing them under proper guidance is something which would be prioritized. So,
Praveen, don't you think that the wide prevalence of hunger and malnutrition also prevents people from taking up to sports?
Yes, sir. India definitely has food security now, but nutritional security is a question. So we must definitely focus on that also, sir. So India has one of the highest obesity rates in the world. As per recent reports, 25% of Indian population are either overweight or obese. This is especially higher even in women. So even in women.
Okay.
Also, according to recent Lancet studies, children also has increasing prevalence of obesity. So on the one hand, we have hunger and malnutrition, which prevents the students from encouraging taking sports. And on the other hand, we have also obesity concerns as well, sir. So both needs to be addressed simultaneously.
Yes. How do you distinguish between stunting and wasting and underweight?
So if I could take a few seconds to recall.
Please.
So if I could recall exactly, stunting is inadequate weight for height. I'm not able to recall exactly, so sorry, sir.
Okay, then let's keep that aside. Are you aware of any government initiatives to address hunger and malnutrition in the country?
Yes, sir. The government has a separate Poshan Abhiyan scheme to address the nutritional security of its population. Also, the government also has schemes such as Janani Suraksha Yojana to provide to facilitate institutional deliveries and also to encourage proper feeding for children, for newborns. So.
Okay. You are a poet.
I'm not very good, but I am a decent. I write whatever I feel. So.
Very well. On what themes or what genre?
Mostly on whatever I feel. So some of the recent poems I have wrote are when I feel a bit low, especially during preparation or when I'm stressed, or something as basic as a simple love. that is also some theme which I have explored. Apart
Come
from
again. The second theme that you mentioned was love,
love, yes, sir. Romantic love,
romantic love. Hmm.
yes, sir. Apart from that, I have also written about mother speciality of mother. So these are some of the themes.
Do you think the appeal of poetry is somewhat limited by language, or
I
does
don't
it
think
transcend linguistic barriers?
it definitely transcends linguistic barriers. So that's because, say, for example, if we take Tirukural, it's a famous Tamil poet. It's a famous Tamil poem written by a Tamil poet Tiruvalluvar. It is one of the most translated works in the world. And irrespective of the fact that it's only translated into other languages, it is extremely popular across the globe. So language, I believe, is definitely not a barrier for that, sir, for understanding the nuances of poetry. So
But your writings, they are in English
yes, sir.
only.
Yes, sir. I'm not very poetic in Tamil, sir, so I prefer writing in English.
Um, could I ask you to recite your favorite poem?
Yes, sir, I will. This poem is basically about a son who is meeting his mother after a very long time after fighting in a battlefield. So the poem goes like this: clouded thoughts muffled his voice. His only desire is to see a glimpse of her face, tussling and counting every second in war. To call her name, he crossed borders, and finally, with tear-filled eyes, his lips spelled mom that broke all barriers.
Very well written, I must commend. Raveen, you think that poets fancy, you know, for themselves a bigger role than what the society accords to them? Poets see themselves often as revolutionaries and as visionaries, while the society is somehow not, it does not to that extent acknowledge the work of poets.
That is true, sir. But society definitely does not acknowledge the work of poets as it must have been. But of course, poets have been revolutionary throughout the era, sir. Say, for example, the same Tamil poet Thiruvalluvar has been revolutionary. Even in English, after the romantic movement in literature, romantic movement in literature was significant, sir, because after the scientific and industrial revolution, when the society was too rational, too impersonal, these romantic poets only reinforced the idea of love, speaking about nature, speaking about human relationships. So, though they were not as appreciated at that time as they are today, they definitely have played a big role in bringing about transformation in the society. So,
Very well. Praveen, you've been a student of sociology.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Who would you say is your favorite sociologist, Praveen?
I will go with M.N. Srinivas, sir.
M.N. Srinivas. Could you list the names of some of the books authored by M.N. Srinivas?
I'm not able to recall at this moment, sir.
Okay. Could you tell me, could you summarize his views on Indian society for me?
Yes, sir. So, M.N. Srinivas predominantly did field works, especially in rural India. So, his theory of Sanskritization and dominant caste has played a very important role in understanding caste as a social institution. So his theory of dominant caste, whereby if a caste has a very high role in either numerical parity or has a very high role in numerical strength or power or prestige in any of any two of these three factors, they would acquire dominant status. So this concept of dominant caste can be applied across various areas. Say, for example, a green revolution can be linked to the emergence of dominant caste and the OBC mobilization and subsequent political developments in the 80s and 90s. And so on, sir. Apart from that, his concept of Sanskritization also helps to understand how social change can, in institutions such as caste, can not only come through legal reforms but also through everyday changes. So when a group tries to emulate social practices of higher caste, they attain upward social mobility. So this is also one of the newest concepts which was developed by M.H. Srinivas.
Praveen, he developed these concepts several decades back.
Yes, sir.
Do you think his notion of Sanskritization is any relevant today? I mean, do people even care about Sanskritic culture, or are we more concerned about imitating Western culture for mobility?
So I believe though Westernization has impacted Indian society a lot, and in the spheres of education and employment, we look forward for Western model. We cannot neglect that Sanskritization has also played a huge part and is continuing to play a huge part. Even in today's world, I believe in during festivals, during rituals, Sanskritic cultures are being followed even to this day. There is a huge respect for Sanskritic culture even today, even among the youth. The rise of Hindutva politics in the 90s is also a testament for this. So I don't believe Sanskritic culture is entirely dying or it's entirely replaced by Westernization, sir. I believe both happen side by side.
Very well. Whatever you studied as a student of sociology, do you think it will be of any utility as an administrator? Apart from helping you clear the examination.
Yes, sir. I believe as if I had not studied sociology, my individual experiences or a person's individual experiences with respect to poverty, with respect to discrimination, etc., might be limited. Now I can able to relate those individual experiences of a person to the societal aspects and the societal constraints surrounding it. So how the society, how because of various social factors, the situation of poverty or the discrimination exists, I could able to better appreciate that well. So knowing that well will help me as an administrator to find the reasons for it well and provide tailored solutions for it as well, sir.
Praveen, could you highlight some of the recent developments in the field of sociology?
One of the recent developments I have seen is in something called as platform sociology. So platform workers and gig economy has been on the boom. So the impact of a gig economy on the society has been a subject of debate in sociology, sir. Apart from that, I have the digital sociology is also another area. The impact of social media and other digital devices on the society is something which is emerging, sir.
Very well. Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you, sir.